Okay, so I'm back in the garage and I've built these arrows 50 times and I've done different fletch configurations, everything on them, back and forth, everything on Instagram, length, weight, still ain't satisfied with them, but I'm pretty sure I found out what I like. It's what I've done for kind of the general setup that I run my arrows every deer season, every season. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it, but I tried to get a little bit more out of it to realize I didn't like it. So I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna bust out all the outserts on these arrows, go through, cut them down, weigh them. I still wanna try and get around 400 grains. Right now they're 409 grains, cut a little bit off of them. Hopefully I'll be right at 400, maybe a little bit over. That'll be okay. So I'm still gonna run these, just gonna cut them shorter. I got the nocturnal, so 25 grains in the back, 20 grains in the back for the nocturnal, 50 grain outsert, and then the tack vanes on them, debating on whether I want to do a 3 fletch or a 4 fletch. That all depends on if I can get 400 with 3 fletch. Still might end up doing a 4 fletch. But I'm gonna get all these cut and then get these all squared up out of the way. And then I'm gonna show you a trick on if you gotta get outserts out of your arrows, how to do it. So the main trick to getting outserts out of your arrows is, I gotta pull 50 things out of my pocket. Using a bit. I got a bit that fits down in this shaft, and don't slide it point. Don't slide it with the drill bit. Point down, you want to do the flat side that goes into the drill, or you'll get stuck behind the outsert, insert, whatever you got. And all I'm going to do is just hold the back of the shaft, put my thumb on the back of the shaft, and then just slide it on down. And you want to make sure that you check it, see if it's loose coming out. You don't want to absolutely kill it, because then you're going to fling your outsert out and have no idea where it went like that. Found it. Okay, so like I said, just be careful, because you don't want to fling your outsert out. You don't want to bend your outsert. You just want to tap it out just enough to where you can get it out. So I'm going to get the rest of these out, and then we'll get to cutting these arrows. Okay, so we got everything fletched up. Come on now, don't do that to me. Ah, don't tell me you got a low battery. Ah, fixed it, just twisted the batteries a little bit. So let's see, we got $381 grains. Dump these out. So we got 1 vane, we got 2, 3 vanes. 398. Add 1 more vane. 404.6. Now, one thing that I am gonna do before I start fletching these up and cleaning them off pretty good is I'm just gonna go back over and square both ends, especially if you get some weird left and rights whenever you're shooting. And this essentially, so when everybody here's a big thing. I'm gonna make a lot of people mad on this, and I really don't care because I hear a lot of people talk about knock tuning, ranch fairy, the hunting public. I got dozens of comments on my tuning videos and stuff on there, and you know what? It is what it is. I don't like knock tuning. Knock tuning's a joke. Most people use it to find the spine of their arrow. I don't do that. I don't worry about my spine too much. I worry about grains per inch, and I don't worry about arrow weight. So if I can get arrow weight and the grains per inch, and I can get every grain within half a grain, or get every arrow within the same, that's why I do my math. That's why I lay out everything and weigh my arrow shafts. That makes more of a difference to me than finding a spine. And actually, what knock tuning, what I have found with knock tuning and turning the knock is this: when you don't square your arrow ends, you're going to have a little bit of a ledge, a variance. So whenever you turn that knock, you're trying to find some point on this shaft where that knock sits flush, left and right, up and down, whatever. So you're spinning it, trying to make it, trying to find it flush so that it flies straight, when you can just buy an arrow square your shafts, be done with it. So I don't knock tune. I think it's a joke. Leave a comment. I'm sure you are if you don't think it is or not, but not trying to sound like a turd burglar or nothing, but just that's my thoughts on it. I don't like knock tuning. It's much bull crap. So I'm just gonna square all these ends off, kind of give them a little bit of a taper on the end of them, a little bit of a bevel. I feel like it makes everything, helps everything fit up flush. So we're gonna get all this done and then go through, clean them, and then fletch them. Okay, so what you've seen there, what I'll normally do whenever I'm trying to get these arrows the exact same, if you've seen any of my later videos, you already know, but if you haven't, I'll take these outserts and I'll take my arrows with bare shaft, whether they have a knock in them or not, and once I get them cut and get them squared up and everything, then I will put them on the grain scale and weigh every single arrow and number them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, whatever, how many ever I got. And then I'll go through my outserts, and then I will weigh every one of my outserts and label them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, whatever. And I will try to match. I'll get the arrow weight that I want in my head, and then I'll measure my shaft, measure my outsert, and then come up with the general number. And then I'll go through every one of my points and every one of my shafts to try and match them up to get them within a half grain, a grain, or the same. Or you can do what I did there if you have lesser arrows. Just take your outserts, put them in a shaft, weigh them, and then kind of just swap back and forth shafts and outserts until you get all of them within a grain or half grain. And that's what I did. All of them are within a grain of each other. I think 2 of them are the exact same. There's 2 that are the exact same, and then 2 others that are the exact same, then they're a grain apart, and then 1 of them is within a half a grain. So I'm okay with that, but I like to get my points in, my outserts in before I fletch my arrows up. And even though I'm using a nocturnal knock hunt with, I'll put in my regular Black Eagle R knock to go through and put my fletchings on. That way I know, because with this, I'm not going to do this with that nocturnal knock because there's a little bit more play. And that plunger there, I would have to put that plunger down to be able to get the same consistency, or I'm just a little bit afraid that I won't get as much consistency with that, so it ain't no big deal. Leave the original knock on it, put this on afterwards. That's just what I'm going to do. And like before, I'm going to end up putting these in a 4 fletch, and I'm pretty sure that I already have this set for a 4 fletch. But the thing with that, I need to clean off my dadgum. I had a pocket knife, found it. But I don't think I'm going to do a 3-degree offset like I had before. I think I'm going to do just a little bit less. I had more of a helical than an offset, so I'm gonna try and straighten up that offset, really get this Bitzenberger set up how I want it again, and really make sure that I get them how I want them this time. Clean off my Bitzenberger, and what I'll do, if you're wondering on that, you can get this over here. So what I'll end up doing with this Bitzenberger is I will take actually my shaft, and I'll go ahead and put my shaft on there. No pun intended. Everything's clean. Then I'll lay this fletching inside this jig, and then I'll just place it on there. I'll look and see as far as my vane touching the shaft the whole way, my offset, everything of that nature. So even my pitch is the thing right now, so if I roll it over from the bottom, I'm getting, don't be afraid to take it up and look at it. So the top's hitting more than the bottom is. So I'm actually going to move that bottom. If I can move that closer, farther down to wherever it is hitting flush with my 76 different Allen wrenches that I have scattered out all over the place. See if that works. Just a little bit too small. Story of my life. Where's that? Get off there. That's a little bit too big. I'll try messing with it with this side to side pitch. There we go. I'm pretty sure. Wow, normally that one fits. Well, we'll find the right one here in a second. Nope. Nope. Maybe. I knew it'd be around here somewhere. So I'm going to, now whenever I fletch these, like I said, I'll go in and I'll shoot a bare shaft, put a dot on top of it, shoot it right up on target, see which way that dot rotates coming out of there, whether it's rotating left or rotating right. Mine rotate left because that's the way that my serving, my string's twisted, that's what it's got to deal with. So when it turns left, I'm going to fletch with a left offset. If it come out right, I'm going to fletch with a right offset. So let's get this on here and see exactly how much offset. Okay, so there we there we are there. I don't think I'm gonna have that much of an offset. Put that right there. So I want my bottom there and my top there. So I'm not gonna have a lot, but I'm gonna have enough. I think that we ended up probably about a 1 degree offset with this. So I actually like that. I like how that's looking. Everything's matching up on the bottom. It looks like we're gonna get a good even glue up on it. And one thing about these tack vanes, as I've noticed, is that they work better with a helical or with an offset than they do straight. So if you ever have a glue up problem with them, you got to have a primer pen and alcohol. Make sure everything's clean. You shouldn't have a problem. So I'm gonna get all these fletched up, and we'll see how they look when I get done. And there we go. Finished product. Trust me, I cleaned them up. Take a Q-tip with some alcohol or a rag. Q-tip works better. Go in there, clean up some excess glue in between your veins. But there's the finished product. Ended up with about a 2 degree left offset. Thought it was one about 2 degree left offset, which I like. They're all even. Green was not my color of choice, but you got to work with the tools that you got. And I want to check weight, because that was the main thing. I wanted to be around that. I done that wrong. Oh, okay, we're zeroed out. Check weight. 406. That's perfect. That's where I wanted to be. 406 grains. That was taking about 3 grains, 2 to 3 grains off. I think 2 grains off. I think it was at 408. Might have been at 409. We'll say about 2.5 grains off of my original arrows. They're cut shorter, so I probably should pick up a little bit more speed. That should give me a little bit faster sight tape. I could be wrong. Sight tape could stay the same, and I'm probably going to have to change that. I just like this better. It glued up a lot better. If you do not use primer pen with tack vanes, it's not going to glue up very good, and they're not going to stick good. So make sure that is the main thing with tack vanes, is everything is absolutely clean, spotless, and you use the primer pen. So this is my whitetail arrow. This is my everything arrow. I mean, 406 grains, 400 grain to 500 grain, you know, on big game. But anywhere between 400 to 500 grains is going to kill it, just about everything in North America. This, especially whitetails, 400 grains on whitetails is a deadly combination. 282 feet per second, 285 feet per second, around in there is what I think my speed's going to end up being. That's what's tuning good. So there's my arrow setup for whitetails. So hope this helps you guys out. See ya.